Hello viewers, welcome to my channel English Learning Clinic. I am with you in the third class of my voice series. You have learned in the second class of my voice series how to change the voice of the verb in an assertive sentence. Now today you will learn in this class how to change the voice of the verb in an interrogative sentence. Of course, you don't have to learn any other process except the process you have already learned in the second class of my voice series. You will easily be able to change the voice of the verb in an interrogative sentence with the help of the process you have already learned in the second class of my voice series. So, let's jump up to the topic. Question. There are two types of questions. One is yes-no question and another is WH question. Here there are two sentences. Do you teach him? Another, when do you teach him? If anyone asks you this type of question, do you teach him? You only put the answer yes or no. You don't need to say anything more rather than yes or no. But if anyone asks you this type of question, that is, when do you teach him? You will answer, I teach him in the morning or evening, etc. This is called informative question. This type of questions begins with the words like who, whom, whose, what, which, when, where, why, and how. Except the word how, all these words starts with the letters WH, WH, WH. So, these words are called WH words. And as this type of question starts with these WH words, so these types of questions are called WH questions. Now, let's first learn how to change the voice of the verb in an yes-no question. This is a question. Are you playing football? The punctuation marks, that is the note of interrogation, clearly shows that this sentence is an interrogative sentence. And also the structure of this sentence is first auxiliary verb, next subject, next the form of the main verb, and next comes others, that is object, complement or adverbials. I have already discussed in detail in the videos of my 10 series, that is in the others there are three types of things, that is adverbials, complement or object. So, the structure is auxiliary verb, subject, main verb, others, and next the note of interrogation. Viewers, you have already learned in the second class of my voice series how to change the voice of the verb in an assertive sentence. So, if you make this question into an assertive sentence, your task of changing the voice in this case will be quite easy. So, first make it assertive. To make it assertive, you have to just interchange the place of the subject and the auxiliary verb. So, make it assertive. The subject will come first, next the verb form, that is with auxiliary verb and the main verb form, and next will come others. And now look at the structure. This is an assertive sentence. Next, just change the voice of the verb in this sentence. To change the voice of this verb, you have to first judge whether the verb is in active voice or in passive voice. Let's judge. Look at this structure. You have already learned in the second class the passive form of the verb is verb, and next comes the third form, that is the past participle form of the main verb. Look at this verb form. This is the form of the be verb, but the main verb is not in third form. So, this is not the passive form of the verb play. This is the active form of the verb play. Now, change the voice of this verb in this sentence. To make it passive, you have to place the object in the subject position, and also you have to place the subject in the object position with the preposition by. Of course, if the subject or the object is pronoun, the form will be changed, that is from subjective form to objective form or from objective form to subjective form. I have already discussed in details in the second class of my voice series. Now comes the task of changing the form of the verb from active to passive form. That is, you have to change this form, that is are playing, to the form be verb and the third form of the main verb. And for this, the verb will give its tense to the be verb. This is the present continuous form of the verb play. So, it will give this tense to the be verb. That is the present continuous form of the be verb. The present continuous form of the be verb is am being, is being, or are being. As football is third person singular number, so is being is appropriate in this case. And next, put the third form, that is the past participle form of the verb play, that is played. This is the passive form of the verb play, and this is the active form of the verb play in present continuous tense. But you are instructed to change the voice of the verb in this interrogative sentence. So, to have the complete answer, you have to just make it question again. So, make it question. To make it questions, you have to again just interchange the place of football and the auxiliary verb is. So, now change the place of football and is. That is will come first, next football, and the rest part of this sentence will come one after another. And at the end of the sentence, just put the note of interrogation. And now, this is the sentence with the passive form of the verb of this interrogative sentence. Now, let's learn just opposite process. That is, how to change the passive form of an yes/no question to the active form of the verb. This is the sentence. This is an interrogative sentence. The note of interrogation clearly shows there. And to change the voice of the verb, just first make it assertive. To make it assertive, you have to just interchange the place of the auxiliary verb and the subject. That is, football will come first, next auxiliary verb is, and the rest part will come one after another. This is the assertive sentence. Now, let's judge whether this verb form is in active voice or passive voice. Look at this structure. First, the form of the be verb, and next the third form of the verb play. So, this form is in passive voice. Now, change the voice of this sentence. To change the voice of the verb of this sentence, you have to place the object in the subject place and the subject to the object place. And now the form of the verb. For changing the passive form of the verb to active form, you have to just focus on the form of the be verb. Here look at the form of the be verb. The be verb is in present continuous form. So, in active voice, the main verb was in present continuous form. As the subject is second person, so for this, are playing is appropriate. Now, make it question. To make it question, the same procedure, just you have to interchange the place of the subject and the auxiliary verb. Change the place of the subject and auxiliary verb, that is auxiliary verb will come first, next subject, next the rest part of the sentence will come one after another, and at the end of the sentence just put the note of interrogation. And this is the sentence with the active form of the verb of this sentence. Now you will learn how to change the voice of the verb in a WH question. Look at this sentence. This is a question. The note of interrogation clearly shows this. Look at this sentence. At the beginning of this question, there is the WH word. So, this question is called WH question. If you put aside this WH word, the structure is first auxiliary verb, next subject, next the main verb, and next the others. So, first put aside this WH word, and next look at the structure. This is the similar structure, and this structure is quite similar to an yes/no question. That is, so use the same procedure what you have already learned just a few minutes ago, how to change the voice of the verb in an yes/no question. First, make it assertive. The assertive structure will be you are playing football. And next, change the voice of this sentence. You have already learned how to change the voice of this assertive sentence. The football will come first. Next, you will go to the object position with the preposition by, and next comes the now. Make it again question. To make the auxiliary verb will come first, next football, and next the rest part of the sentence will come one after another, and at the end of the sentence just put the question mark. The answer is, where is football being played by you? And this is the sentence with the passive form of the verb of this sentence, that is, where are you playing football? Now, if the WH word is when in place of where, just put aside the WH word when. If it is why, put aside the WH word first. If it is how, again put aside the WH word first, and next use the procedure you have learned. Now look at the just opposite process, that is from passive to active voice. This is the WH question. Where is football being played by you? First put aside the WH word. Next, same procedure, make it assertive. Football is being played by you. Next, change the voice of this sentence. You football are playing. You are playing football. Next, make it again question. Change the place of the subject and verb. That is, are will come first. Next, you. Next, the rest part. That is, the answer is, where are you playing football? This is the answer of this question if you are instructed to change the voice of this question. Now we will learn the most interesting part of the voice change of the verb in a WH question. That is, the question starts with the word who. Look at this sentence. If anyone asks you this type of question, perhaps your answer will be, Harris is playing cricket. Just compare these two sentences. Harry is playing cricket. Who is playing cricket? The structure is different in this position, that is Harry and who. And who takes the position of Harry. And you all know, to have the subject of a sentence, you have to ask question to the verb with the word who. That is, who clearly shows the subject of the sentence. So consider it as an assertive sentence because the WH word who takes the place of the subject. So the structure here is subject, next the verb form, next the others or object. This is already in assertive structure. Next, change the voice of this assertive structure. To change the voice, you have to first judge whether the verb is in active voice or passive voice. The form shows that the verb is in active voice. So, change the voice of this verb. To change the voice, just place the object in the subject position. That is, the cricket will come to the subject position. Next, the form of the verb in passive voice, that is be verb, and the past participle form of the main verb. As the verb is in present continuous form, the present continuous form of be verb will be placed just after cricket. For cricket, the present continuous form of the be verb is being, and next the third form of the verb play, played, and next the subject will go to the object position with its objective form with the preposition by. What is the objective form of who? You all know, to find out the indirect object of the verb, you have to ask the question to the verb with the WH word whom. So, naturally, whom is the objective form of who. So, when who goes to the object position, it will be by whom. Now, make it question. To make it questions, you have to just interchange the place of the subject and the auxiliary verb. But as it is a WH question, you have to place the WH word at the very beginning of the sentence. So, first place the WH word by whom at the beginning of the sentence. Next, interchange the place of the subject and the auxiliary verb. That is cricket. And next, the rest part of the sentence will come one after another. And at the end of the sentence, just put the note of interrogation. So viewers, I hope you have enjoyed it quite interestingly. And I hope you have never learned this type of interesting process to change the voice of the verb in a WH question beginning with who. Now this is another interesting part of the change of the voice of the verb in WH question begins with whom. Guys, you all know, to find out the indirect object of a sentence, you have to ask a question to the verb with the WH word whom. And naturally, whom takes the place of the object. If you put aside the WH word whom, the structure is auxiliary verb, subject and main verb. Now make it assertive first. That is, the subject will come first, next the verb, that is stage, next object. As here, whom takes the place of the object. you just regard whom as the object of this sentence. And so, regard it as an assertive sentence. Now, change the voice. To change the voice, the object will come to the subject position with the subjective form. The subjective form of the word whom is who. So, whom will go to the subject position with its subjective form, that is who, and the subject will go to the object position with the preposition by, that is by you. And now the task of the verb. The verb is in active voice as there is no be verb and after is no third form of the verb. Look at this form of the verb. The verb is in present indefinite tense. It will give its tense to the be verb. The present indefinite tense of the be verb is an, is, are. For who, is appropriate. And next, the third form of the verb teach will come. That is, the third form of the teach is taught. Now make it question. And quite interestingly, look at this structure. The WH word is first, next the auxiliary verb, next the verb form, next the others. Quite interestingly, the structure is automatically in an interrogative structure. So, to show it as an interrogative sentence, you just have to put the note of interrogation at the end of the sentence. So, if you are instructed to change the voice of the sentence, whom do you teach? The answer will be who is taught by you. Now, this is another interesting fact of the voice change of the verb of the WH question beginning with what. Look at this sentence. What are you playing? What finds out the direct object of the sentence. And in the same way, quite naturally, what takes the place of the object of a sentence. If you put aside the WH word what, the structure is auxiliary verb, subject and the main verb. Now, make it assertive. You will come first, next the verb form, that is the auxiliary verb and the main verb together. Next the object. Here what acts as object. So, this is the structure of an assertive sentence. Now, change the voice. To change its voice, the object will come to the place of subject and the subject will go to the object position with the preposition by. Next, change the form of the verb from active to passive or passive to active. The verb is in active voice. So, to make it passive, the verb will give its tense to the be verb. The verb is in present continuous form. The present continuous form of the be verb is am being, is being and are being. For what? Is being is appropriate. Next will come the third form of the verb play, that is played. Now make it question. Quite interestingly, look at this structure also. The WH word is at the beginning of the sentence, next auxiliary verb, next the rest part of the sentence. So the structure is automatically in an interrogative sentence. So to show it interrogative, you have to just put the question mark at the end of the sentence. So, if you are instructed to change the voice of the sentence, what are you playing? The answer will be what is being played by you. Now, let's do an exercise. What are you doing here? Make it assertive. You are doing here what? Change the voice. What is being done by you here? Automatically, this is the answer. Next, have you seen him? Make it assertive. You have seen him. Change the voice. He has been seen by you. Make it question. Has he been seen by you? Next, who has heard the sound? Make it assertive. Quite interestingly, you have already learned it is in assertive structure. So, change the voice. The sound has been heard by whom? Make it question. By whom has the sound been heard? Next, when did he kill the snake? Put aside the WH word. Next, make it assertive. He killed the snake. Change the voice. The snake was killed by him. Again make it question with the WH word at the beginning of the sentence. When was the snake killed by him? Another. How many books did you buy? Put aside the WH word first. Make the rest part assertive. You bought books. Change the voice. Books were bought by you. Again, make it question with the WH word at the beginning of the sentence. How many books were bought by you?